Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We'll just have a little start whilst we wait for a couple of people to join. But yeah, sorry to cut you ladies off. We've got 30 seconds to go. But as people tune in, hello guys, we are live here today with Keisha from Teddö Play.
Hi. Anybody? No, we can't see the chat or anything here.
Yeah, it will pop up in just.
Okay.
I think, can you see it? Have you been able to see it in previous? Because I know I can see it.
No, I think it's on. It's on the right hand side of the screen.
So at the top. Hi guys. Someone saying hey there. More hays. Hey, thank you for joining us today with Keisha from Teddö Play. We've also got our SBB enthusiast / Wonder Woman here, and we've got Imogen. Hello, thank you, Christy. Thank you. She says we look beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. So we are here, and we're going to jump straight in today. We're going to start by asking, tell us, what is Teddö Play?
Right. So it is absolutely something that I was really thinking of doing for a long time, actually. But it only just materialized when Aiden was born, my little boy who is now 5. And I said, yeah, I need to go back to my sort of educational roots and teaching roots. And so yeah, I started developing a couple of theme sets just for him to start with, and then obviously then I said, because being a perfectionist, and yeah, you can tell, like I'm very cruel to myself when it comes to things like that. So I said, no, I want to do it right. I want to make it better. And the way children play with their sort of toys, they are so brutal. It's like just everything is just thrown here and there. And I said, no, I want this to last. I just want to create something that is, valuable, not just for the child, but also for parents as well. It's something that they can, use for their one-on-one time when they're traveling. And so I thought, I need to do this properly. And I started to look for manufacturers, and obviously the overseas manufacturers, they came in like super cheap, and I would be a millionaire by now if I would have gone with those. But no, I wanted to support our UK economy in my own small capacity, and I started looking for local manufacturers. And yeah, so everything is made in the UK, all the various learning cards, the box, the labels, every single smallest of the detail, everything is made right here. And yeah, I wanted to make it look like nice and professional, make the box nice, as like it's very giftable as is. So, sometimes like you're in a rush and you just want to pack up a present, you can just carry the box, and then there are loads of learning cards in there. The cards themselves, they're very sturdy, so they will withstand sort of, play by children and for a long time, and wouldn't just stop at what's this, what's that, and then it's done. So they're not flashcards. They're all very sort of carefully thought out in terms of the learning element behind each set. So I've got 13 to 14 in my range so far. I include a play guide with it, something to inspire parents as well to sort of try different ideas, some creative suggestions, and how you can use them. So again, this is something that I include in the box. Because with Aiden, I used to, we have this, in the other room, we have this giant blackboard, which also doubles as a magnetic board. So I said, yeah, I used to use it all the time on there. And I said, no, I think other people would also like it, especially the sort of the homeschooling and home education community. And so I also include like a pack of adhesive magnets. There are 14 each. They are, sorry, I don't know if you can see it. They're magnetic dots, and you can put them on the card, whichever side you're looking at. So you put it here or you put it at the back, and then you can use them on magnetic boards or even fridges and radiators. Really, I've seen parents send me photos of the shapes cards on the radiators. I said, that's a clever idea. Yeah, you can use them on various things, and it helps, especially when my customers, when they have a variety of different sets. So if they're talking about lion on a certain, as a topic, then they'll have everything about lions. So, okay, you have a lion. What does a lion sort of what noise does it make. So a lion roars, what is a baby lion called, what is a group of lions called, and any other information where which countries you find lions in and things like that. So you cover an entire topic when you use them on sort of magnetic boards. So yeah, sorry, have I answered your question, or I just went on and on?
Massively, actually. We just had a quick question here. It says, didn't realise they came with them, the magnets they're referring to. Are they removable, or once they are on, do they stay there?
So they are removable only when you do it like straight away. But I personally would say that just be sure where you want to stick them. So for example, so if you're using this one, so initially if you're doing just recognizing sort of activities, so you can paste the magnet on the side so that you don't cover this text and then you don't cover the picture. Because at the end of the day, it is still a paper, it's still card, although it's like very, very thick paper, but it's still paper, so it will damage the card. So I would say, yeah, be careful when you stick them. And also just because I wanted to make it like sort of child-friendly, these are very, very firm. So I just wanted to make sure that they stick properly, and then children are not able to remove them, just for safety reasons. So they are very, very firm. So it's better that they stay on the card and you don't take them off.
Yeah, that's actually very, she's just a thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, fantastic. Sorry, Em, I realised I've jumped in the wrong order, haven't I? Because you were supposed to start.
No problem. Go straight ahead. Sorry, no problem. You carry on.
Okay, I'll carry on. Sorry, I figured out we were going to do odd and even questions, and then I completely messed that up.
Too keen.
Yeah. So, am I right in thinking, like you mentioned it, but there you were a teacher, yeah?
Yeah. So,
what about that?
I've really had a very, very colorful career. In terms of, I think I started teaching and training very early on, when I was, I think, 17 and a half, 18 years old, because I was like that first venture kind of a student who always wanted to, like, was so over enthusiastic about things, but luckily I did make good friends as well. It was not that I was left out. But yeah, so I was always very keen, especially for languages. Geography was a subject which I didn't understand. I don't know why. And I said, no, I have to get it right for Aiden. So I created like a range of geography resources. And, because everybody in my house, in my family, they used to make fun of me. Okay, you want to ask Keisha? She will tell you, like, Japan is in Europe. She will say things like that. You asked what is the capital, and I said, no, this is getting too much. Like, I'm so good at other things, and this is like ridiculously embarrassing. And so now the country said, I have to work on it first. And with it, now you ask me anything. I've got a map here, you can see.
So your resources in creating them has helped you on that journey. I have to say, speaking of poor geography, I remember when I was in secondary school and we were given like a map of France to label, and I managed to do mine like the wrong way around. So I definitely need your cards, I think.
And I used to teach languages actually when I started. So I was very good with my French when I was learning at my college, at my university. And my professor was absolutely godsend. I think she has been very instrumental in sort of giving me that direction. I really, really admired her. She was this very special lady who encouraged me, and I taught the classes for French like continuously for years together, and I used to get like that time they had the scoring system, so on 100 I used to either be at 98 or 99, and she used to I used to feel that I think I am really good at it, and I think and I was good at teaching as well. So I had my friends who would come to me sometimes, that they would say, oh, you tell me quickly, I know when you say it, I'll understand it. So, I thought maybe that's there in me. And then she pushed me to get into sort of formal training and formal, learning, sort of advancing my own learning first and then, teaching others. So then I moved on to this journey on translations and corporate training. And I'd be a lecturer with the British Institute in India. So that's where I used to design the curriculum curriculum for French and Spanish, and I also had another group of students who were more sort of academic, so they covered sort of school subjects like history, geography, English. And then the other side was students from all over the sort of age range. My youngest at the time before Aiden, I would say, was around 4.5, 5-year-old little girl called Daisy, and my oldest at the time was a 58-year-old CEO of a company in India, and he was like, I don't get scared of anybody, but when I don't do my homework, I know I am so scared of you. You're going to like tell me off. But it was really good. Like, it gave me so much exposure with different type of learners and different type of sort of students. And then on my sort of corporate journey, I moved on to project managing sort of translation projects for blue chip companies like Amazon, not Amazon, Amundi, which are a huge company, and they have tons of literature and all sorts of documents and legal documents and contracts. And so I went deep inside it. I said no languages. I know how to do it. So I got into translations. I do interpreting as well. I interpret for the police. I interpret for the courts. And yeah, I find it difficult in terms of like separating myself from the case, from what's going on, and I just get so emotional. So my husband is like, please get more details about the case first and see if you can really handle it. Otherwise, don't do it. But then I used to do like be an interpreter for school meetings and things like that. So yeah, I've done loads of sort of independent assignments, and then I within the sort of the proper corporate roles, and I did the project management with translation companies. There was an American translation company which is huge now, Donnelly Services, and from there on I said, yeah, this is getting like all languages. It's been like 10-11 years. I want to change, and so I said I want to like completely change the industry. Like, yeah, I'm really ambitious about things, and I feel like I can do everything, but it takes a toll, on the health, on the body and everything. But then I feel, yeah. But I thought I needed a change, like every day, every single day, in and out. I used to do like 10-11 hours a day with my, job as well, the day job. And that was 7 days a week for 6 months, and then 6 days a week for 3 years. So I was exhausted. I was really exhausted. But then I moved into project managing thought leadership projects with Longitude, which is a Financial Times company now. And that was like a brilliant sort of breath of fresh air for me. And it was completely different, nothing to do with languages. It was all about meeting the C-suite, all the decision makers. And, we used to conduct qualitative research and quantitative research. And there was a group of editors who would write content on the back of it. And we used to produce these kind of reports that would move only from one CEO's desk to another. So then you feel the public doesn't get to see these kind of things, and we are putting those kind of things together. And there's so much knowledge and so many things that you get to know and learn and develop yourself. So that's something that I continued. And then Aiden was born. So I think after he was born, during one of those, reading sprees, and when you're first time mom, you're reading tons of material and trying to get so much information. Yeah, and one of those sprees, I don't remember the book title, but I came across the statistics where they said that, children, when they're born, they already have 25% of the brain developed. So 25%, it depends on how the mother is sort of feeling at the time when she's pregnant, what experiences she's had. So that based on that, the 25% is developed. By the time the child is 3 years old, 80% of the brain is developed. So those first experiences, 80%, that's like a huge sort of number. And I said, wow, that's a lot. And the next page said by the time they're 5, 90% is developed. The rest of our lives, our brains only develop 10%. Whatever amount of books you read, whatever you do, whatever experiences you have, yes, it will sort of work on the other 90%, on the 90% that is already developed, but the further development is only 10%. And I said, oh my God, I need to do something. I need to I have all this knowledge in terms of experience as well, but teaching experience with handling different children, students. And I said, no, with my own child, I need to be there. I need to do something. And yeah, that's how I started this. So this is not, my entire range is honestly, you cannot point at any single, like even the basic one, the spellings one, you would say, okay, that could be for a preschool child. But honestly, it will go on for years. You'll find animals in there, which, as grown-ups, even we would have thought, oh, what is this? Let me check. You'll check at the back, what is that? And then lots of activities also I suggest, like, try different things so for example, when the child is really young, they are just identifying, you're trying to learn, what is this, what is that? And when they grow up, you have things like, you just observe, what is happening here? Is it a mommy bear, you think? Is it a daddy bear? What is it? And what is a baby bear called? So you're trying to give them that vocabulary, that language. And as they grow up, then they start different activities, like, can you separate all the wild animals from the farm animals? Can you separate all the birds that can fly and all the birds that cannot fly? Or, birds and animals and things like that. So that the play guide has tons of sort of suggestions like that to use them for a long time. So each and every item is something that will be used for ages. And even after it has been used, like things like that, for example, the anatomy set, I don't think you will ever throw this. It will always come in handy. It will stay on your bookshelves for pretty much, all your life. It can be handed down to, generations. That the geography one, again, will come in very handy for people like me. It's been a long journey, but I'm really happy that this thing sort of gives me that purpose, that passion, and when I see customers' feedback that that they are learning so much. The other day I had a granddad message and say that he used to love geometry as a subject, and with your shape set, and he said, but I'm using the shape set with my grandchild, I'm really loving it. Like, I'm enjoying myself and I am learning a couple of new things, and it is really exciting. So that sort of makes me think that I'm on the right track probably, and I've done the right thing.
Amazing, fantastic. Thank you.
So you touched on it a little bit there, but what is it that prompted you to start Teddö Play?
I think the biggest motivation was the reason that something that I wanted to develop for Aiden. And then when I started doing, even for him, I didn't just do like normal paper or normal cutouts. I started with something big. And then my husband is like, this is really good. My neighbors saw and they were like, this is very good. And I said, okay. Then I don't want to like do it in a pouch or something like that. I want to make it nice. And this is something that probably can, we put it in our handbag. This is always there in the car. So I thought I'll make something sleek, some nice design. So then I said, okay, let me do it with the gift box. Let me do it with the play guide as well. PDFs, they end up, I know it saves lots of money because this is like a pretty thick book that I include for free. But in PDF, I think while playing, you don't want to be on the screen. You tell the children don't be on the screen, and you don't want to be looking for the PDF. So I said, no, I'll include it like this. Everything is very tactile. So that's really, the main reason why I started. And I wanted to do it for the children as well, because I saw, children struggle so much when it comes to expressing themselves. And I used to see that, like, even when they're on their devices and even when they turn it off on their own, like when you task them to turn it off, they are wild. But when they turn it off on their own, they're still angry, they're still frustrated. And you think, what's the matter? What's going on? Like, you've turned it off on your own. But I think, I've been attending a lot of sort of seminars and webinars on sort of child development. I've learned a lot in that all the things and images and constant changing of screens and colors and movement on the screens, it doesn't work with the brain. It doesn't calm you down. Like, it just makes you so angry. And it's that character who's just talking all the time on the screen. Yeah. And then the child is like, I want to say something, but they can't. They're just looking. They're just mesmerized, but they're just looking. And then when they come out of it, they feel what do I do? Do I say something like, mommy's going to listen, not listen? They're just so angry and so frustrated. And I felt that, with things like that, if you have that time with the child, it obviously needs a lot of parental involvement, I would say. But obviously with siblings, it will work much better because they talk, they have their own sort of versions of what they are looking at. And there's so many things they will learn, like, even simple things like, okay, that's a cow and that's a baby cow, it's a calf. So you've given them that word. And things like, I can't find a lion card here, but You're looking at the lion's photo and you say, okay, have you seen the mane of the lion? Do you see how majestic he is? Have you seen the teeth? How big would his roar be? How loud would that be? You've given him so many words, and all those words, then they feel, yeah, when I want to talk something, I'll be able to use some of those words. On screens, things are happening so fast. They pick up things, but it's just at the back of the head. They're not able to implement it. So yeah.
That's very, very good. So your son was kind of the inspiration, but obviously your pre-work with children is also kind of a catalyst for starting it. So amazing stuff. So in terms of the learning cards, I mean, again, you have kind of spoke about this because you've said, like, especially with certain sets, you know, they can last on your shelf a lifetime. But what kind of age do you recommend kind of introducing them? And is there any specific sets for specific ages?
So the animals ones, all the animals ones, I would say start as early as you can. With Aiden, I started when he was 14 months old. I was just a little bit at a time, you know, it's not that you need to get all 40 out at a time. You can do a couple of them, but you'll be amazed because it's that first 3-year period where it was 80% of the brain development happening. You will be amazed. You'll feel, oh, that's too much for the child, but it's not. Like today, when we go to the zoo, he knows the words. He will say, that's the scarlet ibis, or that's a toucan. He will not say birdie. And then I feel, oh, yeah, it's stuck there. And then that time you feel, oh, good, it is stuck. It's not that information is lost with children. So these kind of things which I felt that, you know, animals want to introduce them as early as you can, because obviously it has that animal factor, the nature factor. Children sort of get attracted to them so much. And another thing was about, you know, all these cartoon sort of images and things, or anything that's cartoonized. I think it's funny for you and I as grown-ups. It's not funny for children, honestly. They don't find it funny. For them, it's the reality. So if you show him a very cute, cuddly tiger, they will think that's how a tiger is. Because I remember when he was young, we went to the zoo, London Zoo, with one of our friends, and they're like, oh, Mama, that's some Terence the tiger. I don't know which movie it is from, but there was Terence the tiger. And like, oh, Mama, that's Terence the tiger. Can I go give him a cuddle? And then that time my friend, no, actually, tigers are wild animals. So for the child, at that point in time, the Terence the tiger is really a tiger, is a cute animal, but it's not. We look after our wildlife. That's another sort of education line. But at the end of the day, the children need to be aware that they see a snake. Yeah, snake is dangerous. You don't just go there and pat the snake. You know, it is a dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. That's
why I wanted to stay away from all the cartoonized images, and that's why I wanted to introduce. I encourage parents to introduce all these animal sets very, very early on. You know, as early as you want. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years definitely started. Yeah. The other sets again, and you keep using them with siblings also. So when children are growing up, that they can have different games that they can be playing with it while their younger sibling is still trying to recognize and identify. And these guys have moved on to categorizing, to talking more about them. And so I also do things like, tell me a few things about the UK. So he will come up with 5 sentences. They'll be short, simple sentences. We live in the UK. Mommy lives in the UK. Daddy lives in the UK. They are not separate sentences. One person, you just say, we all live in the UK. Now say something else. He'll give me 5 sentences like that. So then you try to adapt different activities and use them. So again, for this set, you would say that's too early. For a child, probably not. So I started this one at around 3.5 when Aiden was 3.5, and he's pretty good at identifying like at least 10-15 countries now, and he can tell you a couple of things about those things. The anatomy one, believe it or not, 3 to 4 year olds, I do that in my newsletters. I try to give ideas. I try to give things that I do, and it sort of encourages. And then I get feedback from people saying that they have also tried it, and it works. So this one, you would say it's super advanced. Yes, it is, because I wanted it to last forever. So you've got all medically accurate terminology. For older children like 11-12-year-olds, parents can hold them, or you can put them on a stand and they can have a little guess, try to recall the names, like what is this part called, what is that part called, and see whether they're getting it right and whether they know the accurate terminology. But for Aiden, I use it I think I started around, same 3.5, with real placement of organs in the body. So, he will tell you that, okay, where are the lungs? He's not here, otherwise I would have, used him as a as a model here to tell him. But he will tell you that, there's the heart, there are the lungs. Everybody says heart is on the left, but the children, when you teach them, when you tell them, they will know it and they will remember it. That heart is just a little bit on the left. It's not entirely on the left. Things like that. And what protects our heart and our lungs? And then there's the rib cage. Then we talk about the skeleton and the bones and things like that. And then he broke his femur bone recently, and that was the first bone we had learned when we were doing the other this one actually. And he broke that one, and I felt, oh my God. So this one we used to always look at. That's the femur bone. It's the strongest bone in the body, and we had such a big discussion on femur, and he broke his femur. I won't have you.
Oh my goodness, that's horrific. Oh, must have been so painful for him.
It was very, very painful. Yeah, it was. He was in the cast for 4.5 weeks. 10 days at the hospital with the traction thing where they pull the skin and yeah, it was too much. Sorry, that was the time I had to move the call and the live and everything.
Yeah, everyone mentioned that. That's that is a lot. Well, I mean, he knew which bone because he has seen it on the card and he knew about his body. It's good because actually I know that obviously he's a child and he has you to advocate for him, but it gives you that terminology. I have no idea when I go to hospitals and things. Touch wood, I don't need to go very often, but it's nice to have that ability to talk about the body and know, and advocate for yourself because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So those cards are kind of useful, actually.
Yeah, and it's not being over smart. It's not that you're trying to tell the child that you need to know everything, or it's not that. It's just that it equips them when they are on their own. They are able to talk about things. They're able to express themselves. They will not say, "Oh, there's something's not right here." Where you want to express it to the doctor. So, I feel these kind of things, they come in handy when children grow up. That's when they realize, oh, it's good that I had that kind of knowledge, not just with words, but more as well. There are all the facts cards. There's the space one, which I find it so interesting. Our school also uses the space set very regularly, really. And so most children, they will stop at where do we live, which planet, and then you have your 8 planets and the sun, and you stop there. But no children are able to pick up. So in our school as well, now children are talking about the 5 dwarf planets they know about. Tell me about 5 space missions. Tell me about something that you're looking forward to. Who is, who has designed the rover? When was it launched and things. And they're just little bits of information, and they feel that they'll be able to hold a conversation. They'll be able to talk, and it gives them that confidence and gives them so much of that mental peace as well. I think when we are able to sort of put ourselves across as knowledgeable, we feel nice, we feel confident, and with children, I think, it will help them with their own mental well-being, and they won't feel left out, and they won't feel that they're not enough. So it's not aimed at that, and it's not aimed at trying to be over smart with stuff and knowledge and being geeky.
This is not being geeky, but no, I'm right. It empowers children to feel comfortable, confident, and talk, in a way that it's amazing. Okay, well, I'll leave them to the next question.
We've got quite a lot of people who run education settings or home educators in Yes Baby and the Yes Baby Bagel group. So can you talk a little bit more about how they might be able to use them, what sort of packs they should be looking for, and what they might want to do with that with their children in their settings?
So within our home education community, sort of depending on the age range, because I have a number of home education groups that get together, and I've donated a number of sets to their to the setting that they have every month for the monthly meetups, and depending on the age again. So if there is more of an older sort of age range, about 6+, 7+. Then all the geography ones are really popular with them. They have these various boards on display. So again, these ones are the educational themed boards. So So educational posters, with the home education community, you see lots of educational posters at home, but honestly, children don't even look at them because you can't, it's not very engaging, very tactile for children to look at, and unless you framed it or they're going to tear or, it's not going to be, it's just going to sit forgotten on the wall. So this, again, I tried to make it much more, tactile, and something that you can probably take in the car as well. And it's quite big. I don't know if you can see, but it's 30 by 30 centimeters. And yeah, they can spend that much time rather than looking at devices. They could be having this in their laps and talk about this with their siblings or just on their own. They can spend some time. So these kind of things, they love it within the home education setting because it's very, again, this is also very sturdy. So it's waterproof as well. So
oh, wow.
In the garden. And all the various sets, I think, yeah, depending on the age range and what activities they are doing. The other day, they had this, for the Jubilee, they had the flag decoration kind of things. So they had that. But before that, also about when we were doing about Ukraine, we were talking about Ukraine, and you were talking about other surrounding sort of neighboring countries and who can help. And so you start talking about Europe, which countries are in Europe, and then you expand on that. So that became a whole geography session. The anatomy one, again, so we had a couple of medical students in there who were older siblings just accompanying their younger siblings. And I think this set, the anatomy one, has gone from really 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds all the way to medical students and nurses and doctors. Yeah, when we were at the fracture clinic with Aiden, I spotted the skeleton one, and that's mine, that's me, I made that. I'm a child that way, yeah.
Oh, that's such a positive moment. Yeah. So, in terms of like old children, how do you keep them engaged? Can learning be fun for older children? It's all great with early years and turning things into game stuff, but how do you keep that fun as children grow? Yeah. So yeah, in my sort of corporate training and teaching days, I had like all grown-ups. At British Institute as well, the age range was about 20 plus. Almost all of them were 20 plus. So for them, yeah, you can't have too much of animation, but I think it just depends on the way you are conveying a certain topic, like things like anatomy or space. It becomes so exciting. So I make it very interactive with children, and these kind of things you have to let them speak. Hi. You have to let them speak. You talk about other things. You talk about other activities which could be interesting for them. Like instead of having Play-Doh out for your space stuff, which you would do for a younger child, or sensory stuff, you skip all of that. But you do something else. You try to design something on your iPad. Proper some on your own design with your own Procreate as a tool, design tool. You try to get that out. So can you give me the best version of Earth you can, or can you just have a different kind of imagination? So drawing kind of activities, talking. I used to do that a lot at the British Institute. I used to just give people a prompt, and it was all like they knew something different is going to happen. They were never prepared. There was never a chance to prepare. Okay, can you tell me a few things about France today? Just a few things, couple of things. And at the end of it, you need to ask me, you need to ask all of us in the class, you need to ask us 3 questions. And so we make it interactive that way, and everybody is on their toes. Okay, today what is the topic and what she might ask? Yeah, I was a very scary teacher that way, but I did my best to keep everybody entertained. So that's good. Keep them on their toes and throw curveballs once in a while, and keep them engaged and keep them don't keep it too mundane and in a routine. Well, obviously it depends on your child, but yeah. Thank you for those tips.
So for people who are looking to start collecting or looking into getting these cards, which do you think would be the best set for like a starter pack, or the first set they should look into getting?
The starter pack, again, if the child is in the sort of the preschool range, foundation age range, Everything ties in very well with the curriculum. So at foundation, I say 4 years, 5 years old, they have topics around animals and their young ones. They have topics around wild animals, farm animals. You have the spelling set, the animals and the young ones. You have things like collective nouns, which will come a little later, but you can still use that for counting. The math set is amazing. You would think that it's just numbers, but it's not. It's something that I use personally, with other children that I sort of get together and we have these sessions. It's just to encourage that bit of mental maths, because I think people rely too much, children in the early years, they are made to rely too much on prompts. And then unless they see 5 objects, they cannot tell it's 5, so they have to have the 5, then you take away 2, so you take away 2 crayons out. But yeah, initially to get the concept right, you do that, but then you need to stop that at some point, and you have to start them to think and visualize. They're just looking at it, can you tell me how many are these? Yeah, these are 4 bottles here, like straight away. So those kind of things. And again, the math set is very visual, which I find it works very well with very young children as well, who are just trying to learn the numbers first. And then as they grow up, you have more sort of, you have times tables in there, you have percentages and fractions in there, you have skip counting by tens, and you have arithmetical operators in there. So you have 10, you put 10, you put say minus, and then you put something, and then what 10 minus what will give me 5, and then the child has to quickly calculate and do that without any prompts. So yeah, math set again, I would say all the animals ones, yeah, definitely a good place to start with. The countries, the space, the food one is an absolute favorite. I think people love it, especially at this time of the year, when a little sooner, actually February, when they are growing different vegetables and things in the garden. Yeah, and it's very sorry, it's my set, and you might think I'm saying it's very nice, but it's I've tried to make it really interesting. So the information on the back of each of the food cards, they are very specific, something that will tempt children to, oh, let me try this. Let me see how can an okra seed be used to make coffee? Let me try it. They'll be tempted to like give that food a try, because the information in the back is not just for the sake of it. It's not just like sort of general knowledge kind of information. It's more like things that they can do. Like, did you know that you can crush garlic together, and the gooey substance that comes out can be used as a glue? So then they would be like tempted to go and open the garlic up and then do that and try and see if that really sticks. So it's that kind of information in the food set. So again, that's very interesting. So food and the birds and insects, again, with the facts. So that, again, I think, Emily, we were discussing that we replace a lot of our bedtime reading with our sets. So every other night, or after every 2-3 nights, he will pick up and he'll get some birds. Sorry, I don't have that set here, but he'll get some birds out and from the beautiful birds and insects set, and we just read the facts behind it. So that becomes our reading for that night before bedtime. So we go through like 10 different cards. That one, yeah. And we learn about them, and there's information at the back. So it just becomes that bit of bedtime alternative. Yeah,
that's great. I actually have to say, my 5-year-old, who just showed his face, but he would love that. He does enjoy like fantasy at times and stuff, but he's very factual and he loves that. So doing that instead of bedtime story would be right up his street. So that's a good tip, actually. Okay, so we've got a few more questions, and then before we do a little quiz, but before we do that, just a couple from me. What is your favourite set from your collection, and what is your best-selling set?
Best-selling, my favorite, I would say, Anatomy one. I love it. I really love it. Although I was very much into sort of my learning and studies has been into finance and economics and business, sort of the very commerce-related studies, but I was very fascinated by our human body, how things work, how are things just repaired. Like with Aiden's fracture as well, just because he was under 5, his body healed completely, and we're looking at the x-rays and everything is healed. They said if he was over 5, the kind of fall he had, they said that it is something that they've only seen with, some skiing accidents or snowboarding accidents in adults. So it was a huge one because he twisted his femur and then it broke. And it's the strongest bone in our body. So how can it happen in just a normal PE day? But then the way it healed, and they said if he was over 5, he would have had to put those screws in, and it would have been a lifetime thing that doesn't heal. But because children under 5, they're able to heal much faster, so it's all healed properly now.
Yeah.
So those kinds I was always amazed. Anatomy definitely is my absolute favorite. Geography, yes, because of personal traumatic reasons. It has been great. My husband loves the space one. My dad loves the space one so much. They literally, I find them sitting on their own with this. I said, that's for Aiden, not for you. But they love it. I've tried to keep all the images and everything that I've licensed. They are all very, very, very detailed. So you can actually see some of the minor details as well, and you will be able to see the window in the satellite. So it's like very, very high definition photography, and the printing is also done that way to make sure that all the colors pop and keep the children engaged. And my best selling, I would say, depends on the age. With all the younger children, I think up to 7 years old, all the animals ones, the food ones, the facts ones, they go very well. The older ones go for the geography and the anatomy one, but the anatomy one recently I've seen in the past 2-3 months, there's been a big shift, and I've had customers with children who are like 5, who are also going for the anatomy set. So again, it sort of works across different age groups. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's just one more question. We'll do the quiz and then we'll put it out. So, do you want to take the last one?
Yeah, can you give us a hint to any new additions you might be releasing soon?
Can I, Charlotte? Where is she? So I have a quiz range coming up. So that's going to be a series of Quiz Me sets. Again, very different from the usual sort of quiz cards and playing cards that you would have seen. I don't know if I can tell more because I'm still designing. It's still in work in progress. A Quiz Me set.
Yeah.
I've also got a range of activity journals that I'm working on that I want to introduce. I post a lot on Instagram on my stories with the kind of things I do with Aiden at home, and people find that's way advanced for his age, but then they feel that it's good and it's working. And then I see parents who try the same activity and they say, oh wow, I didn't know my little girl was capable of this or my little boy was capable of that, and they started. So many people have asked for those kind of activities, and I thought I'll put together some nice ones in a journal, kind of in a journal really, with lots of activities that children can do on the go, and just something again to move away from screens, and it's more engaging and entertaining for them also to just be. I try and keep them really nice and vibrant and colorful, so children feel tempted to pick up that book over picking up the remote. Yeah,
that's great stuff. Thank you. Right. Are you ready just to do a few questions?
Yeah, I've got a hungry baby, so I'm just feeding at the same time. But the first one what is a baby mouse called?
A Pinky.
Yes. Okay, the next one is, what percentage of a cucumber is water?
God, I think it is 85, was it?
Oh, no, it's 95.
95.
And the final one is, can you identify these 3 flies?
Oh, that is the scorpion fly?
It is. And the next.
How
the final one.
The lace wing fly, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. If anyone has any questions, please drop them. And I'll just go through some of the comments whilst we wait. We've had a comment here saying using the correct terminology for our bodies is so important for many reasons, and I love these cards for that. That's Nadine, and she as well. So
Yes,
Yeah, and we've also got another one about the anatomical cards. Sorry, there. This one is probably close to my heart. I've always used the real words, but I think these would be really helpful and probably like less scary than some of my textbooks. So that's it. You present them in such a wonderful way.
Yeah.
Like you say, to keep them engaging for children, and
Yeah.
the quality looks really great, and the graphics that you've used, it all just looks really inviting and encouraging. So I'm definitely going to head and have a look on the website and go and order myself a couple of cards. But thank you so much for giving your time to us. I know that you and Josh have been so busy. Oh, Emmy's giving a little bit up. But thank you very, very much for joining us, and we hope we'll check in with you. Thank you. Right, well, have a great afternoon, and you enjoy the sunshine.
Yes, and any questions anybody's got in the group as well, yeah, please feel free to tag me and ask me. I'm around. Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you, Keisha.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.